Okay. So welcome again to our April Little Fishes Organized meeting. Woo! I'm so excited for this one because on our agenda is number one. We're going to have a very quick, fun team builder shortly. And then we have a presentation by Diane, who's going to be talking about the 7 relationship killers. And so just to remind you, the reason we do these presentations is so that we can get a better idea of who we are as coaches, trainers, healers, what we work on, how we teach, etc. Once we know each other better, then it's so much easier for us to be motivated and excited to help each other out. And when it's time to help promote each other's workshops and etc., then you can do that also from a genuine place of knowing that the person you're promoting is someone that you know is awesome and wonderful. So thank you so much, Diane, for stepping up to do this for us today. And hand things over to Diane in just a moment. And then just so you know, the other thing on our agenda after Diane is done with her training is you can ask. I'll be checking in with everyone about what help you currently need with your marketing. If there's anything that you have going on you want us to help promote. So this is the time you let us know about that. And then we will take whatever action we can on it today, right now, and or after the meeting as soon as possible. Okay, so that's it for our agenda. And welcome, Diane. Please take over.
Thank you. I just want to thank everybody for having me here today because I really feel that it's an honor to be able to teach you this. It's something that in my 10 years of working as a therapist and a coach with families, with couples, I have come to see these patterns. And I started writing things down. And then I wrote an article on this and I thought, oh my goodness, this really needs to be taught to people because it's not just in our personal lives. Realizing this helped me heal a lot of things and change myself so I could be a better friend, a better partner, a better parent, but it also makes me way more acute in business. So I'm going to talk mostly, I'm going to jot them down. I know I've got only a few minutes, and it's the 7 relationship killers that are lurking around us. But I want you to really see how it can impact your business if you can catch these. You might catch yourself doing this, or you might catch your clients doing this, which tells you way more about them. And then you can use that to see how you can really serve their need or to ask better questions. Okay, so let's get started. So number one, and I've put them in an order so that it's like 2 A's, a B, 2 C's, a D, and then a no. So that's how it works. But it helps me remember because we're going A, B, C, D. Okay. So A, the first A is accused. Okay. Now an accusation is really, you're accusing somebody of an offense. It's almost like you're sure they did it. Okay. It's got some certainty. And often the other person has no recourse. If you think about it like in a legal situation, somebody's being accused of something, they're put in jail. They have to fight to get out and prove their innocence. So in a relationship, accusing yourself, even a relationship with yourself, accusing yourself of, I never do anything right, I'm a loser, I'm a this and that, it's not going to make for a great self-love. It's going to come out and people are going to see it in you. And then if you're walking around accusing people, and I see parents do this to their kids all the time, you did that, stop doing that. They don't even ask questions. And this is really the key. You have to get keen at take a deep breath, step back when something's happening that stresses you, and look at it clearly and ask a question. And some great questions to ask are like, what are you thinking right now? because they're doing this thing. What are they thinking? Or what are you feeling? Because if you don't go into your thoughts and your feelings, you're not really going to the root of who you are or the root of who that person is. And you want to know that about your clients. What are they thinking? What are they feeling? So don't be accusing them. Like, even in coaching, I have a client who is, oh my gosh, I don't know. There's something like we can go through like 5 sessions on one topic. And at the end of the 5th session, he'll ask me the same things he asked me at the very first session. You know, it's almost like he's learned nothing or he's forgotten everything. And there was a point where one day I was so frustrated and I had to do the deep breathing and step back and say to myself, why is this bringing this up in me? This poor man keeps repeating the same things all the time. He's asking me for help. And I obviously, what I've done hasn't worked. So I'm going to have to go think about this more cautiously and find him a better solution. Right now, it's on me. If this hasn't worked, I need to find something better, you know? And I say 5 months because he coached with me, then he stopped, then he started over again. But it's like we're right back to scratch. All those months that he coached with me, like he's forgotten everything. But you'll see that sometimes. You might have clients who you solve their problem and then they get right back into the same mess. Okay. So no accusing, no accusing. Oh, I didn't do I'm a terrible coach. I didn't say that to myself. I just went, okay, what I've done didn't work. Let's try something that might stick to his memory better. Okay. Then the next one is assuming the worst. Now, this is a huge one. Okay. Because I'm sure you've all been, seen this, and I hate it. Again, the other day, and this happens a lot, it's all over in our world. These are things that people do naturally and they think it's normal, or they don't even know they're doing it. But, the other day, I hardly know this person. I've talked to this person on the phone once. And then they were messaging me. I'm not a big texter, so I'll text as short and as sweet as possible because it's the worst form of communication. Don't be texting with your clients. Make sure they call you, okay? So anyway, based on a few texts and a conversation, the person assumed that, I don't know, I had some kind of issues about, I forget what even. And I was like, wow, so you're assuming the worst of me and you haven't even asked me any questions, or you don't even know what I'm thinking, right? And then the person went, oh, I guess that's true. I said, yeah, you're judging me. So assuming the worst is never going to get you anywhere. Assume your clients love what you do. Assume that they want to work with you. Assume that they're going to pay $10,000 or $5,000 or $600 or whatever you're doing, whatever you're selling, whether it be a product or yourself, your service. Assume the best. Okay. If you're going to assume the best. Like, I never assume that my clients are broken or that I feel sorry for them. Where would that get them? I assume that they have everything they need inside of them and I have to help them go find it. I don't give advice ever. If somebody wants to give you advice, you want to run the other way, because I don't know what's best for that person. You don't really know what's best for that person, but you have to assume the best, that they have what it takes. You just need to help them get it out and get on track and take the right actions. Okay. So assuming the worst, big relationship killer. Okay. The next one is a B, blaming. Now, it may seem that this is like accusing, but accusing is more like you're sure somebody did something and you're accusing them of it. Blaming is you're looking for fault. Okay. So we're fault finding. Like, like you're blaming somebody, like, why did you do the dishes that way? This is a huge thing. Do you know how many couples in my practice argue because they don't like the way each other does the dishes? Is it really that important? Are the dishes dirty after? Does it matter if you use a sponge or a cloth? Does it matter if you have a sink full of water or you run the water? Like, how is that going to change your relationship? Really, really think. And then I see a lot of people being blamed for other people's feelings. You make me feel this way. You did this, you did that. Well, think about your part and stuff. Think about the things you did. Think about why you're here right now, because every single decision you make today, an action you take or don't take, is creating your tomorrow. So nobody can make you think or feel anything unless you let them. Okay? So don't be blaming other people. And when you see clients blaming this or that or this, like I hear a lot of clients, well, you know, it's because I don't make a lot of money. It's because this, but you know, if you ask them how many times they drink, they buy coffee, or how many times they've been, you know, they've been really strapped, but they go borrow money to go to do something like totally not going to grow their life. They are spending somewhere. But they're blaming it on something else because they don't want to look at themselves and take responsibility. Okay, so a lot of times if you catch yourself blaming, you catch someone else blaming, or even blaming yourself. Oh gosh, can't believe I did that. It's my fault. It's my fault. So whenever you're using the word fault, it's a blame. Okay. And sometimes it's nobody's fault. It's just the way things happen. You know, somebody dies, you know, out of cancer or just natural causes because they were older. There's no fault there. If you're looking to find fault with something, you're going to be miserable for a long time. You know, there's no fault. Sometimes it's just the way things are. And the idea is to find a solution. Because if you're going to be blaming, assuming, accusing, you're staying in the problem. If you stay in the problem, you're not going to get anywhere. You need to always look for, okay, let's find 3 or 4 solutions and pick the one that goes best and let's move forward. Okay. So the next one is comparing. How many of you like to be compared? Oh, your sister did that way better. Or so-and-so is, their kids are doing this. Or why couldn't you get straight A's like so-and-so? Doesn't feel good, does it? And I'm going to tell you, it doesn't feel good to a client who are a customer if you're comparing your business to other businesses and putting down other businesses. Don't do that. The world has like 7 million people, billion, zillion people in it. I mean, there's room for all of us. What you bring to the table, whatever your service is important and it's specific to you. So even if there's like 100, like how many people are in real estate? Like I see a real estate agent every time I turn around. They're everywhere, you know, and they're living proof. There's room for everyone. They're all making a good amount of money. They're all selling houses. So you have the same thing. I mean, I became a relationship, or I should say a sexuality and mental health therapist and coach years ago. And now more and more people are coming up and starting to do that. They don't have my experience or my qualifications. A lot of them don't have any qualifications to be teaching on sex or mental health. A lot of them are still good, but some of them are not. I don't really care. I mean, I'm sorry for the people who went there and didn't get their services, but I mean, it does not impact me as a business owner. I actually have ADHD. I'm on the autism spectrum. I have a neurodivergent brain. That's why most people come to see me. You know, I've had the high sex drive. I've had the problems with how to differentiate between love and sexuality and all that. I've had a past where there was violence in my house, where I was told I was a girl to find a husband I wasn't good enough to send to school. I've lived it. So I can go through things with my clients. I can hear them and I can feel them, and I have proven results of how to overcome it. You know, I used to never speak because I was sure people would know how stupid I am if I opened my mouth, and look at me now, right? So I'm just, people are going to relate to me in a way that they won't relate to other people. And if they're not okay with me, then I hope they find someone they can match with. So be grateful for the other people in your industry, because that means more people can get help. Okay. So no comparing. Clients hate that. A lot of clients will never come back to you because you're speaking down about other businesses. And those people are trying to make a living too. The other C is criticizing. Raise your hand if you like to be criticized. So don't do it to yourself, okay? Sometimes we are our worst enemy. You know, our worst enemy is us. Right? Because we're thinking we have to be better. We're not good enough. Our stuff, like I said last time, you are good enough. You need to bring out what you have and shine because people need you. Okay. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I want to tell you this. Constructive criticism is still criticism. It still hurts people. Watch your words. I always say the better thing is to ask people first. Don't just start criticizing. Ask them, would you like some feedback? And when you give feedback, don't make it a criticism. Well, you could have done this better. You didn't do that right, blah, blah, blah. That's hurtful. First, start by telling them what they did right. Explain to them all the things they did well, and then just say, you know, maybe you could add this, or maybe you could just change that a little bit and bring this out, you know, and give them something they can work with, right? And this applies to your kids, to your partner, to yourself. It's not helpful to just be, well, you didn't do this, or you did that wrong, or this isn't good. Or you have to think, what can I say to be helpful? And this is where I'm going to add this in as a bonus, okay? Use your words to build up. Use your words to build up, not to tear down. Be cautious because every single word that we say is either building someone up or tearing them down. And this applies to your clients, to yourself. Don't say words to yourself that are going to tear you down. That's not going to be helpful. It's not going to help you feel good about yourself or get through the day, even if you're feeling low. Okay. Make sure you're saying how awesome you are every day. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, oh my God, it's awesome. I'm just gorgeous. Because we all are. We really were all made to be the best. Okay. Believe it. Okay. The next one. Criticism, devices. Now, devices are distractions. So I'm going to tell you a little story that happened to me a little bit ago. I'm going to be really honest with you here, okay? About 3 weeks ago, I went for a trim, right? My hair was long, and I had been to a different hairdresser before because my hairdresser's a little far away. And there was one close by that people highly recommended. I just wanted a trim, but he cut my hair kind of in choppy layers. And in the back, it was like this. Like, I didn't really like it. So I let it grow for 3 months. Like, it was still okay, but I didn't like how choppy it was. And I thought I'll go back to see my hairdresser when all the snow melts and I'll get to Toronto. So I went to see him, and I don't know what he's gone through, but he was a mess. And I'm going to show you what he did. So if you look at my hair here, it's way shorter on this side than it is here. And it doesn't fall right. You know, like I have to work with the straightener because it's so much shorter. Look at the difference. Okay. And he was going to keep cutting. I had to actually push his hand and go stop. Right. But what am I going to do about it? Like, the choices were to cut all the hair short or just to tie it back. And I was like, I'm just going to tie it back till it grows again. But guess what that guy was doing? Do you think he gave me great customer service? No, because he was, every 5 minutes or less, he was answering his phone. He was like, he's washing my hair, and 3 times while he was washing my hair, he went over to the other side to pick up his phone. He was distracted. I think he started cutting my hair, and after all those, like, at least 10 phone calls, he kept coming back and cut a bit, and then he'd go back to the phone, he'd come back, cut a bit, back. I think he forgot what he was doing. right? And I actually said to him a couple of times something, and he just ignored me. So that is what happens when you are distracted, or your devices are your distraction. So when you're talking to somebody, put your full body in front of them, give them your whole presence, and just pay attention to them. And don't listen so that you can respond. Listen to understand. If you don't understand, ask a question, right? What do you mean by that? Can you tell me more about that? Or I don't totally understand. Can you explain it a different way? You need to ask these things to your clients so that they can truly express all of whatever they need. Sometimes they'll give you bits and pieces. You have to go digging, right? So that you can best meet their needs. Okay. So don't be distracted by devices. And I see this. I was an elementary school teacher for years. People would pick up their kids on their phone. They grab their little kid wants to show them stuff and is wanting to spend time with them and tell them about their day. And they're just on their phone and they're just, yeah, whatever. I've seen them walk their kid, tie them up, and still be on the phone, and drive away. They're still on the phone. How respectful is that to your child? You know, your child deserves respect. You want your child to respect you, you need to respect their time and pay attention to them. Same thing with your clients, your partner, and yourself. You know, those endless hours you spend on devices, are they getting you where you want to go? Are they making you money? A lot of times we're just losing ourselves there, right? So anyway, I'm going to keep going because we're almost done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What do you think the last one is? Anybody got an idea? It's an O. I'm going to write it in orange because it's important. Obligation. Why do you think I would put obligations as a relationship killer?
It's like you're
I
not
think
doing
you're
things.
muted. Okay,
Oh,
go
you're
ahead.
not doing things out of love, but obligation, and that's not nice.
Yes. Yes, you're not doing it from an authentic, wonderful, loving place inside of you. You know, and I see this a lot with people in business who are taking clients on that they really don't want to work with, but they want the money. You know, and then they create this obligation to show up for that client, but it doesn't feel good. And you're not enjoying your job. And it's going to be hard for you to give your best that way. Right? It's just like in a partnership, could be business, again, with your kids, with your partner. If you're doing things out of obligation, you're going to start resenting that person. Okay. And that's the big thing I want you to see here. Obligations equal resentments. And I don't care if it's okay right now. In the long run, I've seen this over and over again in 10 years. I've seen it in business. I've seen it with kids. I've seen it with partners. Obligation is like, I'm giving up something for you. So what are you going to give up for me? It's an expectation. And if you live with expectations, I guarantee you, you're setting yourself up for failure. It's a relationship killer. Okay. Because that person may not be able to meet your expectation or give you something back. They may, like, especially in clients, like I have clients sometimes, like, I have done a lot of work. I've been doing this all my life. You know, I've been getting paid for 10 years, but you wouldn't believe the stuff I did before that, volunteer, right? Nobody can afford what I'm worth. Nobody. So I made up prices that I feel good offering people for my work so I could create an amazing business. And I've had clients, you know, $10,000 clients that I've decided not to work with. And it was like, oh gosh, you know, yes, but in my body, when I asked my body, hey, how's it feeling to work with this person? What kind of energy are you sensing? If I feel uncomfortable, tightness, if my body doesn't feel like a hell yes, I'm not doing it. It's taken me all these years to learn that that's not going to be good for me. I'm going to struggle. I'm not going to give them my best. I'm not going to feel happy. Okay. So Don't do things out of obligation. Instead, negotiate with yourself, what could you do? And you can ask it, what could I do that would still be helpful, but I wouldn't feel stuck in an obligation? Sometimes it's, I'm going to give the person resources. A lot of times people don't know resources. If you can give them 2 or 3 good resources, a book, or other people that might want to work with them or something, they're happy. You've still done something to keep them better. Because I always say, leave people better than you found them. Okay, that's what I'm going to leave you with. Okay, so always leave people better than you found them. And I hope today that I've left you better than I found you.
Oh, yes, you have. Thank you so much, Diane.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
we
You have any
we can,
questions?
yeah, exactly. We can take a few minutes, and if you have any questions for Diane.
I have no questions, but I'd like to thank you. It was great, great reminders. And as you mentioned, for me also, it took me a while to work out of passion and authenticity than obligation. And yeah, it's a journey, but it's better to realize that you are sometimes on a path that is not serving you, and then take the steps necessary to adjust and be true to yourself as well.
Yay.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Okay. So if you don't have more questions, I want to thank Diane again for
So wait,
this wonderful
after
presentation.
I just want to show
Yeah.
you like a 3-minute video.
Ah, okay,
Is
okay.
that
Please
okay?
go
That's
ahead.
what I was
Yeah.
telling you. So after the
Okay.
questions, and the reason I want to show you this video, and some of you might have seen it, it's from Brene Brown, is because it's the solution to not doing these things. So what could, because I have this question a lot when I do presentations. Well, what do I do instead of all this? Like, I'm not sure, like, because I always tell them the solution is empathy, always empathy. And people go, I don't really know what empathy is. This little 3-minute video that I found from Brene Brown explains it really well.
Okay.
So if we're okay with it, I'd just like to show it. Is that okay?
Go for it. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Oh, I can't find it there. I'm seeing yours. Okay, hang on a second. Because I put it up so I wouldn't have to look for it. I see it on my side. Okay, let me see again. Okay. Do that. Okay, there it is. All right. And I have to put the sound on, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Where do I put the sound on
like
again?
share system sound. Oh,
Was it in more? Yeah, it's in more.
Okay.
Share sound. Okay, there we go.
So what is empathy, and why is it very different than sympathy? Empathy fuels connection. Sympathy drives disconnection. Empathy, it's very interesting. Teresa Wiseman is a nursing scholar who studied professions, very diverse professions where empathy is relevant, and came up with 4 qualities of empathy. Perspective taking, the ability to take the perspective of another person or recognize their perspective as their truth. Staying out of judgment, not easy when you enjoy it as much as most of us do. Recognizing emotion in other people and then communicating that. Empathy is feeling with people. And to me, I always think of empathy as this kind of sacred space when someone's kind of in a deep hole and they shout out from the bottom and they say, I'm stuck, it's dark, I'm overwhelmed. And then we look and we say, hey, you climb down. I know what it's like down here. And you're not alone. Sympathy is, ooh, it's bad, no. You want a sandwich? Empathy is a choice, and it's a vulnerable choice, because in order to connect with you, I have to connect with something in myself that knows that feeling. Rarely, if ever, does an empathic response begin with "at least." Yeah. And we do it all the time. Because you know what? Someone just shared something with us that's incredibly painful, and we're trying to silver lining it. I don't think that's a verb, but I'm using it as one. We're trying to put the silver lining around it. So, John's getting kicked out of school. At least Sarah is an A student. But one of the things we do sometimes in the face of very difficult conversations is we try to make things better. If I share something with you that's very difficult, I'd rather you say, I don't even know what to say right now, I'm just so glad you told me. Because the truth is, rarely can a response make something better. What makes something better is connection.
I just wanted to leave that with you because we're talking here about things that disconnect us. So I wanted you to have something that connects us. Okay. Empathy is always better than any of these things. Okay. Now I'm going to be done.
Ooh, love
Thank
that.
you a lot for listening.
Thank you, Diane. Okay, so now it's time to check in with you about whatever help you might be needing with your marketing. And so one link that I just added, actually, just to bring your attention to the chat, I earlier added a link to Diane's website. It's dianesname.com, dianedelena.com. And then the second link that I added right now is to the spreadsheet that we use to keep track of who needs what help with their marketing and where we are at in terms of helping them with it. So this way we can hold each other accountable and support each other in making sure what we ask help for is noted and gets done. Okay, so I will call upon Christina first. Christina, do you have anything that you need help with right now?
At this point in time, now, thank you. Once I will have ready my workshop for parents, how to better help their kids to become more confident, more calm, and in control, and have a better and happier relationship with them, I'll let you know. I will need help and support to have that workshop promoted among parents and grandparents. Why not?
Okay, that sounds great. So when you're ready for us to share about that, you
Yeah.
can let us know in our Facebook Messenger chat that we're all a part of. And so we can pick it up from there. And then Alia, I see you're here. Do you have anything that you currently need help with?
Yeah, I'm launching my book, Heal Yourself Naturally. So I just wanted your opinion that what should I talk about at my book launch.
What to talk about at your book launch? Okay, anyone have ideas that you want to give Alia?
Maybe if she can share a bit more what's inside of the book and what's her target audience, or
The topic is Heal Yourself Naturally, and there are 9 principles to regain your energy, health, and freedom. And the topic inside the books is breathing, sleeping, positive mindset, resilience, letting go, and faith, and prayer, and self-care. There are 9 principles in it.
thank you.
Yes. That was a question from Christina, and it's also what you can talk about at your book launch. Talk about what's in your book.
I have something else too. You might want to think about giving the story of why you wrote the book, because stories make people want to buy. Like if they relate to your story, like, why did you write this book? Why was it important to you? Like what happened in your life that they could connect with and want to go buy the book?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a good idea. Samia, can you post the link in it so that they can just have
Absolutely. So
yeah,
one sec.
they think anything else so that they can just
So Alia's book website is healnaturallynow.com. So it's already in the spreadsheet. So if you're looking at the spreadsheet, you'll see in column D, we have added the link to her book website. And previously we had talked about helping Alia by just promoting her website link. So if you can share that, that'll be great. Alia, do you have a specific date set for your
no,
launch? Okay,
no, it hasn't been fixed yet.
okay.
About it or
So
so. I don't.
no worries, no worries. When your book launch date is fixed, if you want to let us know in the Facebook Messenger chat, what we can do is sort of like do some supportive posts for you around the day of the book launch or the day before, day after, you know, things like that, just to help build a little bit more excitement about it.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah. Okay, so we already gave you feedback. So the action item I'll leave in the spreadsheet is needs help promoting the launch. Launch and the launch date. Okay, great. Anyone? Diane. Diane, do you have anything?
Yes, I've rebranded and I've got a whole new website and all my programs, like 4 new programs and actually 5. And I also have like events on there that I'm going to add to, but there's every month on the last Wednesday of the month. I have an expert who talks to people about how to get up to $10,000 of tax credit on if you have some kind of neurodiversity or disability. And you know, I want people to register for that and show up because we're doing this for free. Brenda doesn't charge. She'll even come, like if you need to talk to her after, she'll help you fill out the paperwork. Like she's amazing. Okay. And you, even if you think it's not worth it, come to the presentation because you might see that it is. So you have to be under 50 years old. That's the only thing. I found out about this after I was 50 and I was like, ah, you know, but like you got dyslexia, you know, any kind of ADHD, Tourette's, anything on the spectrum, any kind of physical disability, things that impact your life and you can't have a regular life, you can apply for this if you're in Canada, though. That's the only thing. But I mean, I don't know where everybody's from. I don't know if there are other people here from Canada or if you know people in Canada. Oh, you're in Canada, Christina? Awesome. So yeah, so just know that this is a federal program in Canada and it's very helpful because once you qualify for that, the doors are open and you can get other grants and you can get help to go to school. And there's a lot of other, you get, if you want to do like disability savings plan, the government puts $1,000 a year in there, whether you put anything or not. So you can't take it out, I think, till you're 45 or 50, but think about it. If you've got 20 years that the government's putting $1,000, that's $20,000, $30,000 you're going to have, and it collects interest. Okay, so I'm just saying, like, you know, I keep talking to people about this and they don't want to bother going through the paperwork. It's so sad. And I'm like, but I have an expert who'll help you do the paperwork, tell you exactly what you need, you know, and I've had one client who did it. They got not just a $10,000 tax credit for that year, they went back 10 years.
Oh,
Yeah. So just saying, okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you could promote my website, there's also a
Yes.
free ebook there on mental health and sexuality. Like there's a lot of stuff on there. And
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
adding new things all the time.
So we can definitely already have your website. I will add the link to that
I
in
put
the
it in the
spreadsheet.
sheet too.
Oh, did you? Okay,
Yeah.
great. Because I didn't notice it
Well,
there.
I just did it. I
Okay,
just did it now when you put the
okay.
sheet up.
Okay, great.
Okay, excellent. Thank
Awesome.
you so much, Samina, for all you do. You're
Oh,
awesome.
no worries. My happiness to do it. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us, for all of you who are here live, and for those of you who are watching the recording, thank you for watching the recording. And please make sure you check the spreadsheet for any updated help requests and progress notes and so forth. And we're not quite ready to announce our next meeting yet because next month, which is May, we have Reiki who will be doing the presentation for us, and I want to verify the date that we choose to have our next meeting will work with her, but almost for sure, I think we will have a weekend date because it's been a while since we have had a meeting on the weekend. And I've noticed that more people are able to join us over the weekend. So we're going to try going back to the weekend for next month. So until we connect next time, I wish you lots and lots of peace and joy.
You too. Bye.